welcome back to Studioloo. It's Cindy. So today I'm picking up these Indigo journals again. Yesterday I got quite a bit of work done on one of them. This one, let me just take the tie off. I got the signatures all sewn in, and I got the binding done, and what else? Oh, I've sort of added the fabric to the pages that I want to have fabric on them, and I've finished kind of collaging any pages that I didn't want to leave kind of as is when they were put in the book. So this book is ready to go. Lots of like things have already kind of been added to it in terms of like little pockets and things. Well, not lots, but a few anyways. To me, it's lots. I'm always impressed with myself when I get some of that done before I get the journal bound. So maybe there's actually only a couple. I was being generous. But I'm looking for one in particular that I did because I want to put the journal card into it. This one might be too large. Yeah, it is. So yeah, I'm gonna have to probably use this as a over the page, do a clip for it and use it over the page. But for now, I just want to keep it inside the book so it doesn't get separated and misplaced. So what I'm gonna do though today is I'm gonna move on from this journal and actually work on the other one. So where's this cording here? I'm just going to do a loose bow in here just to keep this all together. So this I'm going to set aside and work on this one. This one I have, it's just one signature, but I haven't gone through the pages yet and like modified them. So I love this image. It's so beautiful. But the first one, I actually missed one, is this book belongs to. So this cover is done. I don't think I'm going to put anything on the front. I just want to enjoy the beautiful indigo. So let's look through and see. Yeah, this page definitely will need some work. So we'll set this aside and I'll just throw my marker into it so I know where I am. And the reason that I chose this book page from this book is because I really loved this. I thought like it was really nice for the Indigo journal. But this I'm not so into, and this one I like the night and day, I think. Yeah, that's nice. This and this need work. So I think what I'm going to do actually is just cover them with indigo dyed paper. Or maybe even some kind of a, would that be tall enough to cover? Yes, okay. So what I think I'm going to do then is tear this to the size that I want and make a large pocket out of it to cover this text over. So we'll just set that over there. And grab my ruler. Here it is. So approximately 10 centimeters in. It's a bit right there. Go a little bit further just to make sure. And I found a base book that I want to use for collaging my scraps in. I might actually start some of that today. Just throw that in my scraps. So now we want to add this to maybe a piece of cardstock just to make it a little bit stronger. Does this need to be the entire height? It's pretty close. Let's see if this will cover this as well. It will. No, it won't. It will just cover it. Okay. We're okay. So, glue. So yesterday was a rainy day. Today it seems like it's going to be a cold day, but not rainy. So I think we might try to go sledding, because I'm definitely feeling like I need to get out and do something and walk around. It's been a couple of days of indoor time, except for the necessities of things that I've had to do, like grocery shopping, because I did have to grocery shop yesterday. There are just certain things that we seem to just run out of a lot, so I bought lots of extra. So I'm trying not to grocery shop right now. I don't like grocery shopping anymore. I used to love grocery shopping. It's just not fun anymore. Okay. A little bit there. There we go. All right. Now we want to make sure that we glue this on properly here. Trying to decide how I want to, if it should be a tuck up here. Probably, that would probably be the best, rather than something with a little divot there. Or over here, because that's the inside of the book, and I don't like to tuck from that side as much as I do from the outside, but I think from the outside it might be a little, I don't know. I'm just going to make it an upper kind of corner pocket. I need my art glitter glue. Okay. Okay, so it's this side. No, wait a minute. It's this side, okay. Oh, yeah, yeah. I'm not completely awake yet. I did not sleep wonderfully last night. I think there's a potential that I may have developed some kind of an allergic reaction to, funny thing, root beer. So across from our grocery store actually is an A&W root beer. And so, or an A&W restaurant rather. So I went grocery shopping and I was super thirsty and it was just like, it's one of those days where you wear your winter coat inside and you're like, it's hot in the store and you've got a mask on and you're just kind of like dehydrating slowly or something. So I was like, hey, you want to stop for like a little bit of nostalgia and get an A&W root beer? Well, I certainly didn't expect to pay the price that I did because I don't know, I just woke up or like, I don't know, like probably an hour, not even an hour after drinking it. I just started to develop kind of like stomach pain, and that lasted all through the night. Like I just was basically like not feeling well until like 4 o'clock in the morning. I tried to go to bed and then I just couldn't. And so I just got up. My husband was very kind and he got up with me. And so yeah, that was my night. But then I guess around like 4 o'clock, I finally just felt a little better and went back to sleep. So I've definitely never had such a reaction before to something so like strange, but I also haven't had A&W root beer in a very long time, and I don't usually drink sugar sodas, so I don't know if it's some kind of a preservative or something that I guess I am no longer able to handle. I don't know. Oh, the plot thickens. So That was my dramatic no sleep issue last night. Okay. Let's do a little off the top. Oops. I have to say, this is the first time that I've dyed paper with indigo before. And I really absolutely am in love with how it turns out. And I think I'm going to continue doing it. I might even put some in my shop so that other people can enjoy it, because it is just beautiful. And I actually have another vat of indigo that I've mixed up that I need to use up. So maybe I will do that. Leave me a comment if you are interested in indigo dyed paper, because that's something I think I'm going to do. I actually need to do a shop update. I have not done one in like a couple of weeks maybe, and that needs to get done. Yeah, that's a little too high. But I've also just kind of been not trying to be super active on Etsy right now, because I would like to, if possible, wait to ship things, especially within the United States, for another week or so, because I think that the poor postal service is they're just taxed beyond their limits, and they're really struggling to, you know, keep going. And it's not fun when you've got a package out there in limbo. It's a very stressful thing, because, you know, you want your customer to get their stuff and you want everything to be good, but sometimes I'm just going to open these botanical stickers. I think I'm going to put a botanical sticker on here. I really love these. They're real flowers that have been laminated. They're really nice. So I think I'm going to take this oval one. The only thing about them is they're extraordinarily hard to peel up. Oops. Whenever you hear those wind chimes, that's my motion sensor on the front of my house. Okay. There we go. That one didn't come off as cleanly as I would like, so I'm just going to trim. There we go. That's better. And I'm going to throw a little bit more glue on the back of these, just because I want to make sure. I think they're so sticky that they stick to the package so much. I'll just put that down at the base of the paper here. Okay. I have to bring more baby wipes down here. My fingers keep getting sticky and I don't have any wipes down here to wash them. All right. So that page is done. Now we'll pop it back in the book here. And let's see what we have next. I just love this page so much. Okay, it looks like this one. So let's put this in here. Okay. So I think we're going to need to cover this because it's the back end of a swan, and I don't think anybody is interested in seeing that. And then this full back area. So let me just grab some stuff here. I've got this big page of lettering, and I'm wondering if I were to decoupage with it on top of this. how would that go? Yeah, I think it would be enough of because it's a colored paper, I think it would be good. So I'm just gonna cut it down to size here. Try to. Try to make it a little less wieldy here. There we go. I'm just gonna grab my glue. There it is, and my glue book. Just use half of it here. There we go. Now, I'm actually just going to try to do this maybe with my glue stick, because I found that it worked really well with some tissue paper that I used for something else, and then it's not as messy as Mod Podging. Okay, so I just want to get like up to this edge. Go. I'm gonna get all these little scrap bits because I really don't like when they hit the floor. I'm kind of okay with this kind of torn area at the bottom. I think it adds to just the nice feel of it. So that's that. Good. Now the back. What do we want to do with the back? I always do this again, but let me see. Let me just bring this up here. I have so much stuff for these journals in this basket. Alright, so I think I want to make use of these pages. So I could actually just use one across that. I think that would be really cool. Is it large enough? Let's get it torn around and see. I get my glue book out of here because I don't want to make a habit of working on it because it's usually very sticky. get my page out of here so I don't accidentally tear it. We're right side up, and I want the bees to go right side up, I think. Yeah, I like that just as a center. That's cool. Almost glued on the right side. Apparently I'm not awake yet. I think I'm going to try to spin some yarn today. I got a little bit done yesterday, but I'm kind of working on a really labor-intensive hand-spun yarn right now with some larger add-in things. It's actually a dinosaur-themed yarn that I posted a picture of my bobbin yesterday on my Studioloo Instagram. So if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see what I'm talking about. I am working on that, and those kind of yarns, they're very time consuming. They require a lot of fiddling about with your spinning wheel and readjusting and manually kind of winding the yarn onto your bobbin, because any spinning wheel really struggles with the kind of stuff that I do sometimes, but that's okay. All right, next page is already done. This one's good. This one needs some work. So why I chose this one was for this. I like this side. I like the florals and the pinks with the indigo. I think what I'm going to do, oopsies, sorry, I'm just going to pick up this ink. There we go. Okay. So I like that there are some florals on here, but the page is a little too convoluted to work, I think. So we're going to cover it right up. And I've already got this, so it will work. So now we just have to tear it down to size. Get this ink out of my way. Okay. What's the width like? Do we need to trim that a bit? No, it's okay. So I checked what day it was today because I have no concept of time during vacation, and it's Tuesday. And yeah, I guess I'm not back at work until January the 4th, so I still have quite a bit of time. I am looking to, I've gotten started a little bit on the journal that I'm going to keep for 2021. It's going to be the Journal of Firsts from Raising Little Shoots. It's really a journal that's kind of designed for, in a lot of ways, homeschooling, but I'm not necessarily using it that way. I am using it to kind of keep track of firsts in nature, like the first full moon, the first, crocuses, or the first dandelions, things like that. And I'm going to use it as kind of a nature study watercolor journal. So yeah, that should be kind of fun. Okay. And then on the other side of the page of that journal, I'm going to be sort of tracking my kids' activities for the week. What do I want to put on this side? Oh, let's see. I think I will collage with these invoice papers that are stamped. These are like telephone message papers, rather, not invoice. And I just did some stamping on them to test out some stamps. So I will use them. Okay. Go. And I need something more for the top. There we go. Sorry. Okay. I always laugh at these because this is like an old message pad and it says, write it down, don't tell him. So I'm like, is this some kind of like a mafia notepad here, message book, or did they mean to actually put the quotes around tell him, like, actually write it down, don't just tell him you're going to do it, whatever. But I thought it was very funny and a sign of the times when this was made. But I'm happy to be using up all these papers. There's so many things that I just really want to try to use up. I think I'm going to try to kind of informally create my own like no spend January or something, where I don't buy things. But I don't know. One of our thrift stores is actually staying open during the lockdown. And I'm not exactly sure how that works. I was a little bit confused when they said that they were staying open, that they reviewed the rules. So I'm not sure about that. I don't think I will be going there, just because I think there is value in just doing what you're asked to do during a time like this. And so that's what I'm going to do. I mean, there may be some exception. I don't know. It's like one of those places where I feel kind of like it's like they're non-essential. They are non-essential in my eyes. I don't think that a waste diversion center is non-essential, but then, or is essential, but then at the same time, it's kind of like there's essential and then there's like valuable, right? Like, not to say that everybody's job isn't valuable, but I personally, you know, have a very kind of environmental mindset. And I think that when you close a place like that down, all the stuff that goes there does end up in the landfill. And like, you know, all this stuff that we're doing right now, all of it has some kind of an impact that we have to live with. Like all of the extra plastic being made to manufacture masks and gloves, and the fact people aren't using their reusable shopping bags these days a lot. All of that's going to impact us in some way, just like, you know, the cut in manufacturing has been good for greenhouse gas reduction and stuff like that. Like, it all has an impact. So we just have to basically understand what we're comfortable with as a society. So I don't know. I don't try to judge. I'm not an expert, but it's a lot of complicated conversations, that's for sure. Okay, that page is done. Now we have another page I got to do, which is this Anne of Green Gables book. So let me just pull that out. So this was an Anne of Green Gables like notebook diary. The whole reason that I wanted it was for these sheep. So I got them, but everything else is a mess. So I need to make that work in some way. So I think what I want to do with this front is literally just use up this page and then probably collage, or not collage, but like do some kind of a header for it. Maybe a botanical of some kind. Okay. And just a little bit off the bottom here. There we go. So I have a journal flip through that I need to film today. The video will be launching probably on January the 1st, because it's for a design team that I'm a part of now, and I want to get that posted, but I have to post it in January because it's for a January project. I'll probably film it today and get it ready to be uploaded in early January. A little too high, but I don't feel like tearing that back up. I'm just going to trim the top. Sorry if you can hear little footsteps stomping around upstairs. You know the drill. There's kiddos. There's nothing I can do really to to get rid of those. Okay, now maybe something from my stack of images. Maybe these two would be kind of cool. I'm happy I'm actually getting through these images. Let's see. Oh, forgot to remove the, I subscribe to like an image service, and sometimes I accidentally print the preview of the image and not the downloaded image, and then you get the watermark. I completely forgot about it with that one. That's nice. Maybe those two would be good. Yeah, but I'm so tempted by like all of these online like media services, like for things like digital images and fonts and all that kind of online design stuff. But I just keep telling myself, you know, you don't need it. And I don't. There are so many things that I have, and I primarily want to continue using like upcycled materials and sort of not get to have to do too much printing, because yeah, I like to do both. I like to have a combo of both. I think that's kind of like, you decide what makes your style, and I think for me that's going to be one of the things that makes my style, which is like, you know, making use of like the beautiful kits that exist out there by some incredible designers, but then also continue to upcycle and use vintage materials, which like I'm a huge antique and vintage lover, so, and I'm a thrift shopper for sure. I love thrift shopping. Probably too much. But I think that a lot of people like thrift shopping, and I think it's really kind of taken off in the last while, which is pretty nice. I always noticed when I do thrift haul videos that there's a lot more of you that tune in for those, so that's kind of cool. And I try to do what I can without like making thrifting like a part of my life that is overwhelming, because, you know, you also, there's the spending aspect of it, but then there's also like the aspect of just accumulation. I don't want to accumulate so much stuff that I will never get through it. That was one of the sort of deals that I made with myself about getting into this hobby, because I have a tendency to basically, when I decide I want to get into something, I really get into it. Like I invest everything I can, and you know, both in time and financially, to just really get a good start on something. But then, you know, you have to make sure like that you're going to stick with that, and how does that fit into your life with the other things that you do. Like right now I'm finding you know, one of my struggles is getting yarn spun, because this interest has taken off in journaling, and I just really want to work on this stuff. And honestly, it's like a different kind of gratification that I get from making books than making yarn, because making yarn is kind of like, it's the gratification like long game. And making a book, while it does take a lot of time, it definitely does, there's some sort of like instant gratification that happens, because you're creating these, like a single page or a single piece of ephemera is like a completed piece of artwork. But you know, with a yarn, you've got to, depending on how much the process that you do yourself, you might have to process and wash the fleece, and then comb it and card it into workable, you know, fiber bats or rovings. And then, you know, you've got to spin it into a yarn, which is a very, you know, it's at least a day of spinning usually for me. So it's just a different kind of thing. There's also differences like physically about how I feel when I do both of those activities. Like I'm very cognizant of repetitive injuries. I'm trying not to get repetitive injuries from like doing repetitive things, like, you know, things where you get carpal tunnel or sciatica from sitting too much or stuff like that. Like I'm trying to just really mix up my activities as much as I can. And it's harder right now because of, you know, the state of the world, that we can't be outside a whole lot. But I do have walking, lots of walking going on. Okay, well, that's that. There we go. So we finished that spread. That's perfect. These are just the base pages. These aren't finished. So that's that. Okay, I think now maybe we are good. Oh no, got one more little one. It's the back of this beautiful page, and I wanted to maintain some of this. So I think what I want to do is actually collage. But not like complex collage. So literally just using our same indigo papers. I want to just tear around them to make the edges all kind of raw. And I want to keep that little bit of leaf. The other thing that I'm working on right now is kind of in my time when I'm hanging out with the kiddos and sitting on the couch or whatever, I am working on an embroidery. So I did this thing where, so we had this old couch, and it was retired last year. It was basically a couch that, like, I don't know, it just got very uncomfortable as time went on. It was an IKEA couch, and I forget what brand it was, but I don't recommend it. There are some decent IKEA couches, but that one was not it, sadly. So we retired it and got a new couch. And though the fabric on it, it was gray. And it was like a gray, honestly, it looks exactly like Aida cloth. It's a woven fabric, and it's really nice. And so I was like, you know, I don't want to waste this entire couch. Like, how can I break it down and use some of it? So that is exactly what I'm doing with it. I've cut it into like squares. I removed all the like the zippers and the things like that, and I've kept all of the fabric that was in good condition from the couch itself. I reused a couple of the cushions to make floor cushions for the kids to jump on, and my dog's dog beds. So I feel really good about that, actually. And the fabric itself is really, really nice to embroider on, and I love that it's a nice like heathered kind of medium gray. So that's what I've been working on. I'm doing a floral, maybe I'll post a picture on my Studioloo Instagram for you to see, because yeah, that's what I've been working on. I just love this picture so much. It's beautiful. Okay, so that is that. Now we are pretty much all ready to bind this book. So let's just make sure the pages are lined up how we want them to be. So if there's any shorter guys, we make sure that they're in the middle so that the bindings get through. I don't normally like to do my binding on camera because I find it's like a slightly more stressful part of the process, but I will do it. I will do it just because I want to bind this book. It's not that stressful. I'm just being, whoops, sorry, I banged the camera there. I'm just being a nervous Nelly, as my mom would say. There we go. So let's just get all 4 clips. So I just clip the whole thing together to keep it in place exactly as I want. I don't want any of the pages to buckle. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is take my cover and my awl. So yeah, this is the way I want to go with this. So I go about like an inch in, and then I'm just going to poke a hole, and then I go slightly above center, and then at the bottom again another inch or so in. So that's that. Now what I'm going to do is mark my page. Gotta grab my Sharpie. Now I'm gonna try to do this way. This is a little bit more difficult with a book like this. So I'm gonna go in from the back, hoping I can make the hole a little more visible here. I just need these holes to be a little visible. There we go. Okay, so now I can see them on the outside, which makes it much easier for me. And then I said this is the top, so basically I'm just going to line the book up with, here we go, and I'm going to make a dot where all 3 of my holes are. 1, 2, 3. Get this out of the way. Then go to the hole and just kind of work the awl slowly through, because you want to get through the center of that spine. There's a lot of pages there to go through. And then just kind of work it back and forth, really expand your hole a bit. Okay. We're just doing the same thing for all 3. So we have 3 really well-defined holes to thread through. Okay. Here we go. So all the holes are threaded. Now I need my needle. Go. So I'm going to thread, I think, embroidery floss. I'm going to use this nice bright blue. Maybe let me see if I have a different blue. Hold on. Yeah, I like that better. It's like a lighter, kind of more steely blue. So then we just go 1, 2, 3 times the length of the book. Snip. Get these out of the way. I just got to thread my needle here. Okay. Now we're going to go in through the center hole from the inside of the journal and through, and then through the book's cover, making sure this seems like the top, meaning that Both of the ends are inside the spine or inside the journal itself. And we're good. Now we go to the top hole on the outside. And again through the back hole into the journal. So now we've threaded this. I like to leave a little bit of a dangle there in case I want to tie anything to the dangles. I don't always, but I sometimes do. I might this time, we'll see. Then we go through the bottom hole. Okay. And back through, and then through the middle hole again. I usually pull it out a little bit just to make sure I'm lined up. This is the trickiest part of journal making for me anyway. There we go. So you don't want to like stab through some other part of your book by accident. And I used to use a really large needle for this with now you want to pull, but you don't want to cause any like ripple of the page. You don't want to like stress the paper out and make it deform. So yeah, I used to use a large holed needle, but what I find is it just makes the holes a little too big. So then I just kind of cross underneath the string, and then you just kind of pull it both directions to get a decent tight binding. And then I tie it 3 times. 1, 2, then I reverse the string direction and I go 3. And then you have a tightly bound book, and you've got some nice long strings here that you can decide what to do with later. And take off your clips. Then I go from the back of the journal and I just do this. And I'm going to have to clean up a little bit. I've got a little bit of this, when it was Mod Podged down, this cabbage paper, it got a little bit messy there. So I will fix that. I'm probably going to put a pocket inside these. I usually do. Yeah. But don't stress. It's not like a big deal. It doesn't impact the journal like integrity in any way. Now I just check my binding here and see, so sometimes you get a little bit of extra here. Now you can decide if you're okay with that, that's fine. And if you're not, you can choose to trim it off. So what I do in those situations is just kind of go through and see, is there anything that I would be shearing off that would be important to the journal? And you can choose to just be like, I'm going to live with it, or I'm going to be brave and I'm going to do this kind of cutting off. So what I do in this scenario to just clean things up is this. Here's my knife. Okay. So I recommend, if you're doing this, to stand up and just make sure that you're over the spine. You don't want to cut the spine. And then you just begin slowly dragging your X-Acto. And I recommend like a box cutter. Now don't worry, you might have to clean up a little bit here, but don't worry. Just stay in one spot. Okay. Almost. All right, now let me take a look at this and see what I think. Okay. I need to get my other blade. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to pause you. And oops, I forgot to turn the camera back on. So what I did was I changed my blade and my knife. I got a sharper blade. I just snapped one of those off, and I just evened out again. I just evened out this edge. So now I'm happy with it. That just happens a little bit because of the bulk of all of the pages, because as you add more and more, you'll see that, like, you know, you gain a little bit of distance right there. So when you initially measured all your pages to the very back of your book, you weren't accounting for this. So this only really happens in these single signature journals, single signature, I can say that. Because, like, you're not splitting the pages up into multiple you know, signatures. So basically, yeah, that is all you got to do. It's not that difficult, and it works out well. Yeah, so this book is done, like the back covers, but I think we are at the end of the video for today. So I will come back to you probably having done a bit more work on this journal, and we will continue. So thank you so much for tuning in. Please check out the description box for all of my social media information, and have a great day.